Hi, all. I welcome you to the Building Culture podcast where I invite incredibly smart people who build things. Whether they be engineers, entrepreneurs, programmers, hobbyists, or researchers, it does not matter. As long as you're someone who's passionate about building things, I'll find you and podcast you. Hi, all. I want to take a brief moment to thank you all personally for supporting this podcast on YouTube and on all major podcast platforms, including Google Podcasts and Spotify. The podcast mainly features interesting people in robotics, artificial intelligence, and entrepreneurship. If you believe that the information that I'm providing might be of benefit to you or to someone you know, it would be really great if you could hit the subscribe button and press the notification icon so that you can get notified on time whenever the next part is out. It would literally take you a second or two to subscribe to the podcast, but it would really mean a lot to me because I can grow the podcast to a level where I can reach more people, invite ever more interesting guests, and have a more meaningful impact. So let's begin now.
For that, yeah. But that's an interesting point. So about this curiosity thing, and I want to link it to education because you talked about artificial curriculums, which student is probably not intrinsically motivated, and if they probably take up their own idea based on their own uh, curiosity, then they're more likely to do it. So, do you think such a thing can be integrated in the education, or do you have some idea of how an alternate thing could be there? Anything on how this particular approach could be used in learning?
Um, can you rephrase your question? I did not really get the exact
So,
question.
yeah, so the idea about so working on intrinsically driven ideas, basically, and those can be used in the education system. So currently, the way we are learning is we have a fixed curriculum,
Yeah.
and yeah, you have to learn this. So someone else is telling you that yeah, you have to do these, but maybe you have your own ideas, right? And you are interested in working on that. Do you think these two things can be combined?
Of course. Yeah. If you
Yeah,
combine, then only you're making the best out of it. Because just
yeah.
imagine you came to study masters in robotics. Now you have a curriculum. You cannot just not follow what you are being taught and then do something different. But you
Mhm.
have to think, okay, my teacher told me today control systems. Now, if you start to have those questions and see how those are related to your control systems concepts,
Yeah.
your of course your when you, as I said, your curiosity will not be focused on one topic, it will always spread across. But then the more time you spend on a particular thing out of that curiosity, you will be more and more focused on that thing, so the focus will keep on increasing. So as I said, primarily I will be more spending time on learning about computer vision or AI, but
Hmm.
I'm getting questions in the mind from everywhere. But then I
Okay.
am prioritizing and spending more time on certain things. But
Okay.
if I can connect that on what I'm studying or what is my curriculum, then it will be the most valuable thing for me, effective. Because otherwise, you are not really, you're telling, okay, I have a curriculum, I'm just doing it because I have to do it. And now I
Hmm.
am really focusing on my increasing learning. But then it makes no sense to really do the curriculum and study, because that is a waste of your time. You're doing
Hmm.
something just because you have to do it, but then you are not connecting your passion to that thing. Never do something which you don't really like, or you
Okay.
really think it's a waste thing I have to just do.
Yeah.
You have to try to reduce those things which you are doing just because you have to do it, because these things are not creating value for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the idea that, for example, taking computer vision as an example, right? So, if someone is, let's say, naturally curious about computer vision, maybe they've worked on it before or something, and then there's these other subjects that they have to finish, like then there's also obligations, right? There's other subject, maybe there's some subject that person is not really interested about. So does it make sense to have like push through or cultivate a curiosity or interest in that as well, because that might connect to the
I mean,
existing knowledge.
I, as I said, like I think probably everybody always gives less priority to something and high priority to something. So if you are
Yeah.
studying 10 subjects, it will always happen that you will have some things which you don't like and you will give less time to it. So I don't think it's really necessary to give and actively increase your curiosity in everything,
Hmm.
because it's not possible practically for anybody to be good at everything. If you
Yeah.
really want to score good, you can learn certain things and score good. But even if you don't score good, it's not a problem, because after some point of time, okay, I'm just talking about studies now. There, maybe this question would be important. Okay, how can I score more? That's a
Hmm.
different thing. But even if you are not able to score, I can tell you that you will not fail. So if you are not really a topper in your class in all the subjects, it doesn't mean that you will do bad in your life.
Hmm.
If you say, let's say you say, okay, I'm not able to understand those topics and maybe I'm just scoring passing marks, and there are some things I love and I'm doing really good at it, and overall score is bad, but then after some point you will see that you will be able to do good because you have pursued what you really like very much.
Hmm.
So the focus, that is my personal belief, and I am not maybe generalizing it that everybody has to do like this. My observation is that if you follow something which you really like and develop yourself in that, at some point of time, you will be rewarded for that,
Hmm.
and you will never be punished for something you were not good at and you did not do. I think so.
Hmm.
But if you
Okay.
really do and pursue the path which you really like, at some point you will definitely be rewarded. That is my personal experience, and I think it really works out for everything. I'll just take the example. Why did Steve Jobs drop out? Why did Microsoft guy Bill Gates drop out? They did not really do well in their studies, right? They dropped out.
Hmm.
If their main focus would have been to score very high grades, they would have continued and they studied. But what they did, they thought, okay, I really have found my thing which I really like, and now I want to focus on that and pursue that path. And they did continued on that and continued very early than other people, and they
Hmm.
had more time to succeed in what they wanted. So that's why I'm just telling that never ever get worried that you don't do good at something you don't really like or enjoy. But if you want to do, it's fine. You can do it. But don't get demotivated because you're not able to score good in a certain subject,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But if you really want to do good in that subject because you love it and you're not able to do, then you have to improve yourself because you really love it and you want to do that, right?
Hmm.
There you can improve your ability to improve your score and all that. But practically, there will be nobody who will be good at everything. It's not possible.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Yeah. So so maybe I can, so there's an idea that I can think of right now from what you suggest is it's basically so for you already are using YouTube as a sort of a learning platform, so to say. So you're searching it and your feed is customized based on your what you're searching. So if for example someone wants to learn computer vision, and maybe let's say someone search how anything like how a particular algorithm in computer vision learn works, and then the YouTube way would be to recommend people all of these give suggestions of all the existing videos and stuff. But like for the education thing, we also need a structure, right? So what would happen is if the two things can be combined, right? If someone is curious about a topic, but then you get a structured course based on that, then this thing is intrinsically motivated and anyone can choose any subject that they want to learn, rather than having a fixed set of curriculum, so to say. So what is your take on that? Because this
I mean,
is taking the intrinsic motivation into account.
yeah, I mean, as you said, as I actually said this answer before, that you said about combining this extrinsic, which is a
Yeah,
curriculum,
yeah,
and
yeah.
intrinsic is where your curiosity and you're driven by that. So as I said, I told you that you need to combine that. So
Okay.
that's why it is extremely important. If you have a curriculum, if you have a path, and then there are professors who are guiding you in that, and you can somehow connect your curiosity and learning with that thing, then automatically it will become very efficient. So that is something I already said. So it is very important. If you have an extrinsic guide for you which is telling how you will grow and you like it, you want
Yeah.
to do it, that's why you have taken an admission to a course. So
Mm.
make sure that you are not just being motivated by extrinsic, but you're also motivated by intrinsic. So not, you don't go and do a project because the professor tells you, because the curriculum
Yeah.
tells you, but you also do a project because you also want to do, and you are motivated by your own idea and own motivation and inspiration. So
Mm.
extrinsic told you do a project, fine, you will do it, you will learn from it. But then you don't be restricted and only do that. Do
Yeah.
something beyond it, which is again motivated by your intrinsic methods.
Hmm. Hmm, hmm, hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, makes sense. So now let's talk about the digital products part, which you are actually pretty enthusiastic about. So, let's start with talking about what do you think is wrong with social media and how machine learning is being used today?
Um, I think uh, I think one thing which I did not like so much is about fairness, because uh, so I'm talking about AI usage, and how the people's data is being used by unfair way. For example, if you if you buy a product, um, normally it has to be fair to everyone, right? So if the product price, it's like so what they basically today, they will notice that okay, you are the person who clicked on this link, and it could happen that after some time they put you at a different price than the other person.
Hmm.
So you'll both log into this. Like today, what happens is Google is giving you different information based on what you searched.
Hmm.
But then at some point, I feel the fairness of data and fairness of services provided to you is decreasing.
Hmm.
It's good to have individualized thing. It's good, but at the same time, you have to make sure to be fair to everybody, that everybody gets an equal chance. So
Yeah.
that could be something which is not fair today, I feel, and it has a risk to increase in the future, that the fairness will decrease because of AI becoming too much individualistic. And you
Okay.
won't even know that you are treated differently than others,
Yeah.
because you
No.
think I am just getting treated how I should be, and but you never know that they are not treating you equally as the others treat others. So
Hmm.
this is where I feel this is driving like little bit not in a positive way, that we should also have a controlled and ethical behavior of AI systems.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And the other thing, of course, ethical behavior. Another thing is, like as I said, social media, how ethical things are being done there. So that is something. Okay, they have kind of concepts of hook frameworks. Like if you
Okay.
there's a book from Natal or something like about hook framework, how they produce digital products just to hook people onto it.
Is
But
the
then,
book called Hooked? Is the book name Hooked, or is
yeah, I
there's
think, I think it's near Etal or something like. It's called Hooked. Uh,
Hooked? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's explaining about the hooked framework, which is used by gaming companies and all that, and this is
Okay.
also used, for example, by Facebook
Hmm.
or Instagram, and they're trying to hook people onto their platform so that they get the maximum value. So you are watching more ads and they're earning more revenues. So
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
idea is that you are spending all your time on this, but then the important part is some people really get hooked without them really wanting to it.
Yeah.
So there is there and they're not able to control. So basically the companies are trying to play around the mechanics of human brain. They
Hmm.
know how human brain works, and they're trying to use it to make money. So making money is one thing, but improving a society to the next level is another thing. So being ethical while we have better technologies is very important. Of course, many people are working on that direction, but I feel that there is like some risks there, and people have to work to improve that thing, being
Okay.
more ethical in social media, or for people's privacy, or people's like you know uh, like personal data. So that is something today not really respected so much. I mean, of course, the GDPR came, and then I will just give you an example. Today, GDPR came, and every website will give you an option that accept the data cookies, right? So you will
Hmm.
see. some website will have an option that, okay, um, they will give a filter where you can select all things and then say accept. Some websites will not be ethical, they will just have an option called accept all. So, and then
Okay.
the other things will all be hidden. And then if you click, say, more settings and more information, and then somewhere you can go and turn off the tracking of you. So even though they have all that requirement from the government being placed, but they don't really make it from the user experience very much like fair, transparent. The user will only see accept all button highlighted in blue, so they will say, okay, I click this. But then if you say accept all, it accepts all the terms which you don't want.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there is in technology a lot of unethical behavior being practiced just to earn money, and that is something where I feel like uh, as I said, hook framework is something where you have to really see, okay, we want to earn money, but how much will we really impact the society on a negative level? That is something also they have to think about. It's not
So,
always about earning money.
so do you think like regulations in this area could be a solution? Because you're also working in this thing, and eventually you have now, of course, it's the decision of the company of which parameters they want to optimize for. Let's say, for example, for YouTube, it's the number of hours you spent on the platform itself. So do you think like having some regulations could be a good idea that that could prevent this unethical use? Or
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they have different ethical departments working on that, but some points there are a lot of turnarounds or workarounds happening, and just to make sure, okay, there are some norms, but then we can avoid that norm by this way. But then they are just doing what they did before, and
Mhm.
this was still respected, the legal thing, but then actually it was not respected because the goal of that legal thing was not fulfilled. If you
Hmm.
bring a regulation and you say this is what I need because of this regulation, and if you don't achieve that, it's not really helpful, you know.
Hmm.
So the companies, they have that, but then at the same point, many companies are looking for workarounds around those laws or those rules, and that should not happen. So the companies should not really just think about workarounds around government regulations, and really have to understand what is the primary goal of the regulation or the law, and then they have to make their own value or of the company in in sync with the regulations and the objective of those regulations. So they have to also see, okay,
Hmm.
we are law abiding and this is what the organization had made the rule for, and okay, it might have a revenue impact, but then let's be
Mhm.
creative and find a better way to even to satisfy the objective and also be able to financially successful, and not
Okay.
just do the same thing and find a workaround around that. So that's not being fair to anybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, so now let's move to the final set of questions where we'll talk about uh, what actually motivates you and your mindset in general. And so the first question that I want to ask you is about what keeps you driven consistently over all these years. One of the answers I think is about curiosity, but yeah, what other factors actually motivate you?
I think for me, the most important thing which motivates me is thinking how I am adding value to others. This is actually more important. Curiosity is just a tool which is helping me that, but my goal is to think how much value have I added to others, like my
Okay.
friends, family, my colleagues, my the people whom I know around, and then I have to constantly think, okay, how have I improved myself, like in those years, because every year is passing by, you have to analyze and see, have I become better at something, and if I have become better at something, have I passed on that value to the other people? So
Okay.
that is actually from just personally for me important, that I constantly think that how much I am able to make others life better, like in any way. If I'm able to help somebody, I try to help and see, okay, how they have got a benefit out of it. If I'm, let's say, I'm teaching somebody a special course or something, or a special technology, then it feels makes me happy that okay, I'm able to explain and pass it to somebody else. So even now, I'm
Okay.
talking to you because I feel at some point of time somebody will listen this and get some value out of it. Otherwise, it's not really worth for me to sit for 2 hours and just discuss things and just have an entertainment. So
Hmm.
it's about creating some information together with you, which will be passed on to some other people who will get benefit and can tell, okay, we heard to something people talking about, and really, it really helped me change things in my life. So
Okay.
that is the constant motivation which have always guided me and made me happy. I actually feel happy when I see that I'm able to constantly add value to others, because in that journey to add value to others, you are also adding value to yourself, because this
Hmm.
automatically happens. You never just create value for others, you always add value also for yourself in the process.
Okay.
So,
So
so
the idea not just being intrinsically motivated by the technology, but that the fact that you can actually add some, you can impact someone else's life also in a meaningful way.
like for example, okay, you I'm just giving, if you are a student, you can talk to another student, and if he has a doubt, you are able to explain, and then this person is able to do well in the exam. And that's a simple thing. You can start as a student, and then you're going to work. You are sitting with a colleague who is not able to understand something, and you know that how to help him. Then you go and help him, and he is able to proceed in his work. And you do that in every time you are sitting with somebody. Somebody asks you, okay, how does the taxation system in Germany is working, and you know that you help somebody else, and then you
Mm.
constantly are helping them. But then what happens when you help them? You also learn something from them as well, because what happens when you they are asking you more questions. Sometimes
Okay.
you will not know the answers of everything. So what happens, you go back and you try to search something what they asked, and then you help them, but at the same time you also learn something new. So you
Okay.
scaled yourself up in the same process, but
Yeah.
for your primary purpose of doing it because you're trying to help somebody. And but most of us do things just to help ourselves,
Hmm.
but you have to actively think, okay, I really will always help myself when I help others. So your
Okay.
primary has to be not help yourself, but help others. You can help your sister, you can help your brother, you can help your father, you can help your friend, you can help your colleague, you can help your company, you can help everybody around you. At the same time, you will see that when you're helping others, you are automatically helping yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
This will happen for sure.
So yeah, that's a very interesting point. So you also, so you are someone who derives a lot of meaning in learning and also sharing the learning with others and impacting other people's life. So do you actually define it as something that gives purpose or meaning to your life, or
Yeah,
is it
exactly.
conscious thing, or is it just that something that just happened and you realize that this is how it should be?
I think it's also conscious, and after some time, it becomes a part of your personality. Because in,
Okay.
let's say, at some point you do this consciously, okay, it will always be there. So consciously, when you sit and think back what you have done, then at that point of time you will see that okay, you've done something good. But then when you're doing your everyday job, sometimes it will automatically happen because you develop this habit of helping and creating value for others, that you
Mm.
will not really consciously do it, but it will automatically happen. That when you see somebody is
Okay.
not able to, like for example, you are sitting somewhere, and I still remember I was traveling in the train when I was doing masters, and there were two school kids sitting in front of my seat. I was sitting in front of them, and they were doing integration. Okay, I could not speak German that time, but I could not also understand what they are speaking, but I saw in the paper they're doing the integration, but they're not able to solve that problem, and I
Okay.
knew how to solve that. Then I told that to that there are two like girls sitting in front of me, and I said like, can I help? Of course, I did not know German. I could not explain them in German because they were school students. But then I just said, okay, I wrote down the whole answer. So I took the copy from her, and I wrote down the complete answer to that. And they were like very happy. And of course, I said them, I can't explain you here, but then of course they understood because I did step by step the whole integration. Of course, it
Okay.
was for me not difficult, but for them, they were extremely happy at that point. So as I said, at
Mm.
that moment, it was not my job. I'm traveling from point A to point B, and my job is just to take the train and go. But then I saw an opportunity. There are two people sitting in front struggling with a problem, and I know I can help them. I just went and offered that.
Mm.
So, but I felt very happy that okay, they got something out of it, and then they were not stuck. They could use that time of traveling to do something productive. So you can actually do that same behavior in everything you do around you, and
Okay.
uh, and that will always help you if you just go to somebody. Even though, like, let's say somebody is moving from one house to the other and setting up a kitchen, you go and try to help them. You will see, you will learn how to set up a kitchen. If somebody is okay having some problem with electrical setups or fittings and all, you go and help. You also learn from that. So this is,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just telling you from my private or personal experiences that I've helped in people in all domains. And when you do that, you really learn something also new.
Mm.
Like, so yeah, that's something I can really share as a positive experience.
Yeah. What I admire about your mindset is that, like, whether it is cultivating curiosity or the idea of helping others, you kind of integrate it in your day-to-day life. So you would be curious about things you see, machines you see on an everyday basis, and also about people you might not know, and you would willing to take that extra step to help that thing. So I'm curious about, was there a moment that that you started to adopt this mindset, or did you always sort of have this thing?
Uh, I think maybe I had it in me. Maybe that I always somehow like to help. But of course, at some point of time, I recognized this about myself,
Mm.
and because people started telling me this about me and telling that okay, this is what I really like about you, that you
Okay. Okay.
proactively help others. And then when people told me, then I understood, okay, this is something positive about me. And then when I
Mm.
understand I have something good about me, I try to amplify it. So I try to
Ah.
do it more and more. So I said you before, when we began first, understand yourself, what you're good
Mm.
at and what is your capability. And then this is something I understood about myself, that I have this nature of proactively helping others even though they don't come and ask me. And then I saw, okay, how can I really connect this to find meaning in my life and really that it will be part of my whole life. Then I saw actually
Wow.
this thing is really like kind of integrating well into everything what I'm doing. So if I just connect this dot and say, okay, if I am trying to help others and creating value for others and just connect to everything I'm doing, and then I see, okay, it's fitting very well. And then I see, okay, I understood, okay, I also understood that if I'm creating value for others, I'm also creating value for myself, that I'm learning more when I'm helping others learn. So then
Mm.
then I saw, okay, this was something, maybe I had it, but then when I consciously started working and improving it, I saw more and more positive things coming out of it.
Yeah, and this is not just restricted to your career, but general all areas of your life,
Yeah,
actually.
it's a general personality trait. And I
Yeah.
have got like many times this feedback, normally in annual feedbacks and all, even when I was a student or afterwards, it was written always that you are somebody who will proactively help and go the extra mile to help others, even though you don't really have to do it. And
Hmm. Hmm.
so this was something there, and I saw this was the best thing about myself. And that's what I can explain if somebody asks me, what is the best thing you think and others think good about you?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, as much as I know you, I have definitely seen this trait again and again in you. And yeah, I would also like to thank you for your support that you have been offering. So, also, do you have some book recommendations that have shaped your mindset in general?
I think one of the book which I really really enjoyed very much learning and reading was like this book from Dale Carnegie.
Okay.
Yeah, so Dale
Uh,
Carnegie is one book which I really loved, like how to influence people and make friends.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so this book, and then the other book which I really liked very much, especially to finance. There were two books I loved. One was from Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And
Yeah.
the other book which I loved very much is this um, from like Warren Buffett, this intelligent investor. So
Okay.
because then he's talking a lot about the value thing, and this is something where I really understood.
Okay.
And one of also like one of also some person whom I like very much is also this Aswad Damodaran. He is also like a professor who is teaching value investing, like
Okay.
calculating values. So of course it's more related to finance, but
Mm.
I also really love how he thinks and analyzing businesses and how to understand the story behind a business. So he always tells that you never start valuing a business based on financials. You start from the story, and you have to
Mm.
have this story philosophy behind a business. And once you understand the philosophy, then it becomes more easy to see the balance sheet and connect the numbers. But if you just work more like a mathematician and on numbers, then it's not really very accurate, and it might happen that you will make false assumptions.
Mm.
So yeah, these are the people who have influenced me a lot, along with Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, and so these two people also. So Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, and this book of Dale Carnegie has inspired me a lot. So these are different things which have more me. Of course, I'm not talking too much on technology because I think
Mm.
technology is not really the main thing, because technology is changing very fast. But these are the
Okay.
things which I told you, it doesn't change.
Yeah.
It's if you learn those characters and things, it stays the same. So when you learn how you deal with people, how to behave with people, and what are the best character attributes which help you become successful, these are like same for 100 years or 500 years, and maybe will still stay the same. So focusing on learning those skills are very important than just learning technology. Because you learn OpenCV 1.0, then comes 2.0, then comes 3.0, and then OpenCV is no more used. So technology is not something which
Mm.
really
Mhm.
is the most important thing. But of course, you
Yeah.
have to learn because you are a tech student.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
agree about like the mind you're talking about cultivating a mindset that can maybe help you, realize what is important in life, and then you could learn the skills that are needed to achieve the things that you want to do. So it's more about the mindset. Like for example, this might seem like a very small thing, right? This idea of provide bringing value to other people and also constantly learning, but this small thing you're using every moment of your life, so it's kind of a very amplified thing, and probably also fulfills you ultimately.
Yeah, so that's just like, as I said, my personal experience which I shared, and if it is helpful for anybody else to connect in their life, I will be very happy that okay, somebody else also feels the same way.
Hmm.
But I'm just telling all my positive experiences which I have gained from these things. Yeah.
Okay. What impact do you want to have by means of your work ultimately? Like, of course, this is a very uh, like difficult question, but I'm sure you have thought about this.
I mean, I really uh, I don't really actively like selling, okay, I want to have this impact, but I always feel like if I will be able to have an impact, it will be a great thing for me. So I will be very happy. So my main goal would be to stick to this principle, which I said you, to add value,
Hmm.
and I keep on doing it for a
Yeah.
very long time, as long as I can, as long as I am able to. And I think if that way I'm able to really create value for others and they are getting an impact into their lives. So I
Hmm.
don't know, I can be somebody after 20 years that people will think, okay, this was a guy who created an impact for us and all that. This is not something I'm actively working on, because I
Okay.
think it's like they say this boon boon se sagar, like with
Yeah,
small
yeah, yeah.
drops you're forming. So the ocean is formed by small drops of water. The same way I am looking more at the drops of water and working at that. I don't know if the ocean will be really created someday, but if it really happens, I will be very happy. So but I'm not really thinking about creating this ocean. I'm thinking,
Mm.
okay, every day that some drops I'm adding to that
Yeah.
this water source. And
You're
so
focusing on what you can control and
yeah,
doing.
and I have a limited age or time, and if I keep every day doing something, it might have an impact which I might not see,
Yeah.
but I'm definitely sure that it is creating an impact which will is like automatically traversing through people and through time. So
Mm.
there are many people who have done great work, and we are sitting because of them here and using their work. But
Mm.
we only see some people who are in books or somewhere. But I
Yeah.
don't just think that only those people whom we read about or know about, these are the people who created the
No,
change.
for sure. Yeah.
And because along with them there were many people whom we may not know, and they have also added huge amount of value to the whole thing. And for example, if Mahatma Gandhi was sitting and on this like this independence work and everything, there were millions of people supporting him and working together with him. And I think those millions of people work was equally important, because if they would have not been there, maybe Mahatma Gandhi's work
Mm.
would have not even worked. So
Yeah.
people who is doing something positive matters a lot for for next generation. That's why I said I don't particularly want to see myself some big guy or somebody who has made an impact, but I'll be happy if what I'm doing slowly creates a positive impact. Even talking with you now, same thing, would be happy that it creates a
Mm.
small impact.
Yeah, you definitely are creating an impact as well. So, yeah, the final question that I want to ask you is what advice do you want to give? Of course, you have given lots of advices throughout the podcast, but like just a couple of sentences that you would want to share.
um, yeah, there is one thing is a personal advice, one is a professional advice. So
Okay.
from personal side, I think the important thing would be uh, this: always work on improving yourself. So understand what is your capability today, and try
Mhm.
to see that tomorrow you are better than what you're today. That is something personally very important. And on professional side, something I would say, like everybody who's working and going to an industry have to think about three things. And if you really constantly think about those three things, you will be very good in your work. It might not, it doesn't matter if you're technical or business side. That
Okay.
when you think of providing a solution or product or something, always try to come from the user's perspective, the customer's perspective. So what is the problem of the customer or the need of the customer that you're fulfilling, and what benefit you're getting, um,
Mm.
or he needs, and that's why you're creating this product. That's the first thing. The second thing would be that what is the value of that thing. Like, okay, if you're creating a solution, is it really having a value of 100,000 or 20,000 or 30,000? Because that's where you will do your pricing of your product, right? So that's
Mm.
something, the success of the product. Tomorrow you're starting a company and trying to make your product, then you have to price that product to people in a certain way. So you have to
Mm.
understand yourself that there is a value people get out of that, and that's where you have to price it. The third thing would be, like, how do you convince your user who is using your product to pay you that value, and they think that it's a value for money, which we always say when we buy something, we say it's value for money. So we only say value for money. It means when I pay 10 euros for this, then I'm getting 20 euros benefit for this. And this is something where like for example, marketing works, or sales is working to
Mm.
inform the customer. So these are the three things, but you can already see on all those three things there is a center point: is you're focused on the customer or user of your product.
Yeah.
And this is something I think I already told you when we were reviewing this work of you before, that
Yeah.
come from the customer's point of view. So as I said, this is more like the business side, and personal side, you continuously improve yourself, and that way you keep on adding value to others. So,
Perfect. That's a very profound advice. Thanks a lot, Subhashish, for this wonderful conversation. I think it was definitely not just entertaining, but enriching, and also will be impacting people's mindset and helping them think in the right direction. So thanks a lot. And in the future, maybe we could do another conversation. So thank you very much, Subhashish.
Definitely, yeah. So from my side, I also think that I really enjoyed talking to you, and it it is really nice to know a person like you. I was myself very happy to even know you, and when I saw how you are doing this meetups and everything, and adding value to students, bringing them together, I was extremely like happy and really um, surprised to see that you're able to put in so much efforts, even though you're just like studying right now. So I think you're doing great job, and I hope like you will really succeed a lot in what you're doing, and keep on creating more value for everybody who is associated with you in this
Yeah.
journey.
Thanks a lot for these kind words.
Yeah,
Thank
welcome.
you. Yeah.
Hey guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this particular conversation and it helped you in some way, shape, or form. If it did, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification icon or the bell icon so that you can get notified on time whenever the next part is out. Also, it would be really great if you could give me your feedback in the comments below. That would really help me improve. I'm uploading small clips of the long podcasts on a regular basis on platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. So make sure to follow me on these platforms if you're someone who cannot take out time for the long episodes. The podcasts are also available on all major podcast platforms, including Spotify and Google Podcasts.